everyone, it's Rebecca from the Glitch Stitchery. I'm here today with I'm gonna call it a palette cleanser video. And let me explain what I mean. Let me just pull my chair up a little bit closer. There we go. All right, so when I am crocheting or knitting or weaving or spinning, whatever, if I do a really large project or a really complicated project, by the time I'm done, I tend to just want a palette cleanser project, something really easy and simple to just relax and kind of let my brain heal, I guess. Alternatively, if I'm having a really bad week and things are just going really poorly for me, whether physically or mentally or whatever, then again, a palette cleanser project can be really nice. So for crocheting and knitting, that's usually a hat or learning a new stitch and making a blanket square, or some other really small portable project. For spinning, that usually just means I break out the spindle and do a single spindle of whatever it is I feel like spinning. For weaving though, the problem with weaving is quite often if I am that burnt out, I do not have the energy to warp either loom. So I wanted something I could use for the times when I really want to weave, but I'm just not up to doing anything complex. So that's why I bought this Peg Loom. I bought this when I went to Billings Farm for my last Vermont trip. And it came with, you know, the loom, these little instruction cards, and this, I don't want to call it a shuttle, but it's basically a shuttle crossed with a tapestry needle. So it works fairly well. I also have this weaving comb that I picked up, I think, from Darn Good Yarn. And once I run out of space on here, I'm going to be switching over to a tapestry needle. So it's pretty simple. I mean, you warp it according to the pegs, and then you just weave back and forth. It's not like an overly complex thing, which is what I wanted. I wanted it to be as simple as possible. So I save all of my scraps from knitting and everything. So I have all these little tiny bits. This isn't even all of them. It doesn't really matter what you use to warp it with because you're not really gonna be able to see it by the end anyway. And you know, you don't actually have to use these for anything. The whole point is just to rest. So you don't have to have a purpose in mind when you're making one. But if you're someone that needs a purpose when making them, you could make them for coasters, or you can make a whole bunch of them and stitch them together into a larger project like a bag or some wall art or a rug or something. For now, I just want to make them. I don't really care what they turn into in the end. And you don't have to have a peg loom like this one. I got this one because it's really heavy, so it sits still on my desk and I can look at it like that. But I also have some small frame looms that I picked up from Etsy. So I have these wooden ones, and then I have an acrylic one as well that's pretty cool looking. So that's this one. And I mean, they work basically the same way. You warp it across and then you weave back and forth. You could also use a pin loom for this, which I know it sounds the same, pin loom and peg loom, but a pin loom has little pins on all the way around. And personally, I find that if I just want to work back and forth like this, the pins on the side tend to get in the way. They usually have a specific way of weaving across them in like a continuous method, which looks really cool when it's done, but it's not what I wanted to do. So I wanted this specifically. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep weaving across this. Every time it gets too short, I just tie on another color and keep going, and the knots are still in there. I don't care about them because I'm just trying to relax. On my next one, I might actually tie a bead in each knot to make it even more noticeable, because I can. I have all these little scraps, and I have some other scraps too that are larger that I'm holding on to for the warping part. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep working on this. I'll switch to time lapse for a bit, and we will keep going. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see if I can get this off of here and if it just falls apart when I do. I don't think it will, but we'll see. Alright, I think it all caught itself and it's just going to stay like that. The going back and forth kind of, I don't know how to explain it. See, there's things interlocking through the different loops so they can't pull apart, I think. Or at least it'd be difficult for them to. I am going to tie these last two little bits together because those two could come undone given the chance, but I think that's the only thing that could. Alright, cool. So now I have this, and I don't really have any use for it, but I don't need a use for it, because the whole point of making it was just to make it. Especially when I'm having a hard time, sometimes all I actually need is that win of finishing something, even if what I finish is completely useless. So that always feels good. And if you ever are looking at my Instagram and it seems like I've made a ridiculous number of hats in 1 week, there's probably a reason why I was making hats that week. But this was fun. I enjoyed this, and I'm gonna make a whole bunch more of them probably, and we'll see what happens. But it would be fun to make a bunch of them and stitch them into like a larger wall hanging, or possibly, I don't know, a bag. I wove these pretty tightly, so maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And if you do need a reason to make them, other than the reasons I already listed, you could also see it as testing out to see what colors look good together before you make a larger project. Or you could even warp it for a specific weaving pattern and do like a little tiny test of it. But mostly I just do it to do it. And I mean, I save all my scraps. Hopefully you save scraps as well, because they are really good for weaving. If you wanted to do a larger one, you could do one of those like art weaves with the curves and everything. That's really fun. This is a little small for me to do that. I was trying to use my twin birch tapestry needle at the end because it's a nice long one. And it does get in between really well, but it's very hard to thread. So if you are going to do this, you might want to go for one with a larger eye. This does work fairly well, actually. I enjoyed using this. So yeah, that is about it. I'm going to warp up and do another one and just do that in time lapse, but that's it for my talking. So thank you so much for watching. And let me know in the comments if you've ever done a palette cleanser project, or what you like to do for palette cleanser projects, because I know everyone has different things that they like to do to just clean the slate, start over, and mentally reset themselves. So yeah, I would love to know what you do, and thanks again for watching.